You know a flavor combination that I absolutely love? Sweet and salty. And today we are going to be taking those flavor combinations and putting them into one of my all-time favorite donuts. So today we are going to be making maple bacon donuts, and a lot of you probably think that that is such a weird combination, but I promise you, this is a grown-up's donut, okay? This combination isn't overly sweet. It's got a nice, complex, rich flavor from the maple syrup that we're going to be using. I promise you, if you've never had this donut, please give it a try. So without further ado, let's dive into this recipe. Alright everybody, let's get to making these maple bacon donuts. They are very sweet with a hint of salty flavor, and they are absolutely amazing. Also, this recipe yields about 14 donuts, so if you want less, you can half it. To 1 cup of warm milk, add 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, then add in a half cup of granulated sugar. Give this a nice stir with a fork and let it sit for about 10 minutes until it becomes frothy. This is how you know your yeast is alive and active. Once that's done, grab yourself a stand mixer. You can also totally use just a mixing bowl. Be sure you have a dough hook attachment, and then we're just going to add our yeast, milk, and sugar mixture. I like to reserve a little bit of my liquid, give it a swirl, and get all the yeast out. Next, add in 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of unsalted butter. Be sure to use a good butter here. Next, add in 2 eggs that have been sitting at room temperature. You want these to be at room temperature because they are going to work their way into the dough easier. Then just mix this on a low speed for about 3 minutes. Also, if your eggs are being a little bit stubborn like mine, you can break the yolks and then continue this process. Next, I'm adding in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now we are going to raise our stand mixer up and add in a few spoonfuls of flour. In total here we are adding 4 cups of flour, but just slowly incorporate and mix your flour in a little bit at a time. This is going to prevent clumps in your dough, and it is a highly important step. Don't forget to scrape down the sides and continue mixing until your dough reaches a nice elastic ball, kind of like you see here. I would say it took about 5 or 6 minutes total after adding all of my flour. Then you're going to flour a work surface and really spread this flour out because we're rolling this dough fairly thin. So plop your dough ball out, and we're going to flour our rolling pin, or in my case a water bottle, and then we're just going to roll this out until it is roughly 1/8 of an inch thick. This will provide the perfect size donut after they are done frying. And once your dough is completely rolled out, use a 3-inch biscuit cutter or donut cutter and just place indents all around your dough. I like to do this before actually cutting to make sure I'm getting the maximum amount of donuts. Then I'm going to flour my ring cutter and just press out all of these circles. And be sure to reflour your cutter in between because it will make it way easier to cut these. Then we're just doing the same process with our little ring in the middle. We are going to cut these out, lay them out on a baking sheet with parchment paper, and cover them with a towel and let them rest for an hour. Now let's talk bacon. You really want a thick bacon here that doesn't have too much fat. I made the mistake of getting bacon that has a lot of fat in it, and I ended up having to discard a lot of it. Thick cut bacon, once it's crumbled, will have a nicer texture and flavor. Just preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 191 degrees Celsius and cook your bacon for 15 minutes on a baking sheet. While your bacon is cooking and your dough is proofing, we need to make the icing. So here you want to use 100% pure maple syrup. This will help drive home the maple flavor. Into a mixing bowl, add in 2 cups of powdered sugar, follow that up with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then slowly add in 10 tablespoons, yes, 10 tablespoons of maple syrup. You might actually need more than this, but whisk in between, and you want this to be a relatively thick icing, that way it adheres to the top of your donuts. So in the end, your icing should look something close to this consistency here, nice and thick but still falling off the whisk. And as you can see, our donuts have become nice and puffy after the hour has been up. So let's take our donuts and our donut holes over to our fry station. Get a large 6-quart pot, fill it just under halfway with oil, and also have a fry thermometer on hand. You will also need 2 baking sheets with wire racks to set your donuts when they are done frying. Now just heat your oil up on medium-high until it reaches 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I placed in about 5 donuts at a time. Let them cook for between 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes depending, until they are golden brown. And you also want to flip these a couple of times during that fry time. So just get your phone out, have it on hand, and flip these 1 or 2 times throughout the cooking process. And if you want to, you can be like me and cook a few at 1:30 and a few at 2 minutes. But another note is, once you add in your donuts, the temperature of the oil is going to go down, so you may or may not have to let this rise back up between each batch. So once your donuts are done, they should be a nice light golden brown color. And really all of the hard work is done now, so all we have to do is get ready to ice these. So just take your donut and dunk it in your maple icing, give it a little bit of a swirl, and then you want to immediately place your bacon crumbles on top. That way they set with the icing. And since I had to throw out some of my bacon because it was too thin and fatty, I did go ahead and whip up a nice thin glaze. For more of a traditional donut, this is very simple. All you need is a little bit of powdered sugar like earlier, and just make it a little bit thinner than you did the maple. And then I also added a few sprinkles to this before it set. And here we have it, guys, maple bacon donuts. Let's take a second to admire these and then give them a taste test. Alright everybody, Dylan's here to taste test these donuts. So Dylan, tell us what you think.
Alright, I'm going to try the regular glaze one with sprinkles first. Very good. Nice glaze, and then the donuts are nice and airy on the inside.
Thoughts on the maple bacon donut?
Alright. The maple icing is there on that one.
It's that 100% pure tree sauce.
Good sauce. That icing smacks on another level.
Alright everybody, the donuts are complete. Here we have just the simple glazed donut with sprinkles on it. And then we have one of my all-time favorite donuts and the star of the show today, the maple bacon donut. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a taste test really quickly. Maple bacon down the hatch. The icing is absolutely amazing. You get that really good maple syrup flavor. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a very nice maple flavor on the icing. The saltiness from the bacon complements it. Not too much overboard with the bacon. Keep it nice and simple. A little bit of crumbles on top. Absolutely perfect. I definitely think that the maple bacon donut is my top favorite donut, if not tied with Boston cream. But then we're also going to go with the simple glazed donut here. Nice airy texture in the middle, sweet, not as thick of an icing. And here, let me show you guys something. If you're wondering what the texture of these donuts is like, nice cakey texture. I would say it's almost in between, and only people from North Carolina are going to understand this. It's almost a combination between Krispy Kreme donuts and Duck Donuts, which Duck Donuts is more of a cake donut, and Krispy Kreme is, of course, what you all know. But it's a very nice donut. I really like these. Nice, soft, chewy, sweet, everything that you want in a donut. Alright everybody, and the Braves just won their second game of the World Series, so I'm going to eat an extra victory donut for them. So hopefully they can pull it off. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below, comment, turn on that notification bell, and I will see you guys on the next one. Also, we will be doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers and a special video as a thank you from me to you. So until then, I'm going to keep making these videos, and I will see you guys on the next one.